Hey everyone, welcome to Las Vegas. Megan Olivi here, and today I am joined by the winner of The Ultimate Fighter Season 24, Tim Elliott, who takes on Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson this Saturday for the flyweight belt right here at the Palms. This was a very unique season of The Ultimate Fighter. I want to just kind of hear overall your experience about the show. Was this something that you were originally interested in when it was presented, or was there some coaxing to get you into it?
When I first found out actually about The Ultimate Fighter, they were having tryouts for the 125-pound division. So I bought a ticket. My manager, he didn't really want me to. He thought that I was going to get signed with just a couple more wins outside of the UFC. I had 3 fights outside, and outside of the promotion, I felt really good. But I wanted to do the show anyway, and then they canceled the tryouts. They sent an email saying that they were doing invite only, and that if I wanted out, I could come give it a shot. So I still didn't really know. I went and did the trial period, the interview process and all that, and when I came back, I was pretty set on that's what I wanted to do. It was an opportunity to get a fight for the belt, and I could have never got that opportunity anywhere else. I mean, I may have, but with this, it was guaranteed a shot, and I knew that I had to at least give it a try, and it kind of panned out.
7 weeks, you just mentioned, that's a long time. What was the hardest part for you?
Aside being away from my child, I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I don't do anything. I go to the gym and I take my baby with me. I don't spend any time away from her. I've never been away from her more than a couple of hours. So to leave her for 7 weeks at a time where she was really starting to get her own personality, she was starting to talk and walk, and I didn't want to miss out on that. But again, the opportunity was huge. The biggest issue for me in the house was the weight cut. The first time it wasn't an issue, second time it got a little harder, third time it got a little harder. By the fourth time of making weight in 4 weeks, I was done, I was spent. Honestly, I told my coaches that I didn't want to do it, that I was ready to be done, that I didn't care anymore. And I was lucky that I had a coaching staff. I mean, these guys didn't just come to the practices. They were at the house 2-3 times a week. They would call, they would make sure that I didn't need anything. They would come get me in the middle of the night to go cut weight if I wanted. I had Joseph Benavidez, all these guys, they took out of their time and lives without getting paid for this part, to make sure that I was going to make weight, and they didn't let me quit. So, I feel pretty fortunate that I had the coaching staff that I did, because normally my mental game is my strongest attribute, and that was completely gone. It was completely taken away, and my coaches got me through it. They made the weight, they got me to the finals, and without them, I seriously know that I would not have made it.
What was the actual team experience like? Did you come into this saying, I want to be on a particular team, or were you just hoping to get a staff that's supportive?
I really wanted to be on Joe's team right from the start. I knew what he was about. I fought Joe before. I know the kind of guy he is. I know the work that he puts into it. I know how good he is. I wanted to learn. I knew right away that I wanted Joe as my coach, and I even told him during the interview process, hey, you better pick me. And he did. He picked me very first pick, and to me, being the first pick is more important than being the #1 seed.
This was a unique situation for you because you were a UFC vet. You might have had an advantage because you understood the things that it takes to get into the UFC. But did you also ever feel like it was a detriment to you?
Yeah, I mean, with me, all the guys in the house have seen me fight. They all see me fight in the UFC, so they knew a little bit about me. They've seen me fight top opponents, to whereas with me, I only knew a couple of guys in the house. I knew Damasio, and then I knew Danger. So other than that, I knew nothing about any of the guys in the house. So I don't know, what they're good at, what their coaches are, what they like to do. So these guys have tape to study on me, and I have nothing to study on them. So it's good and bad.
How do you feel like you have changed as an athlete? Just watching you fight on the show, you look like a different Tim Elliott than we saw originally in the UFC.
I mean, at the time when I got signed, I was super green. I was a wrestler with just a few fights who, the only notable guy that I ever fought was Jens Pulver, and he kind of made my career. He's a great guy, but I got him at the end of his career, and I wasn't really ready. I wasn't ready for the UFC, but they called, and what do you say? You have to be ready when the time comes. So it was just early for me. So I feel like being fired by the UFC was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It came at a good time. My daughter was just being born, so I had a lot of time to spend with her in the first few weeks of her life, and I didn't think about fighting or anything for that amount of time, just being a father. And then, I started training different. It wasn't kill yourself in the gym all week long. It was just be a father, train when you can. And then I started noticing, man, I'm not banged up anymore. I'm not hurting. I'm having fun at practice. I'm getting better. I'm learning again. So my whole way of practice changed when I had my kid. And now that the ability to train smarter has made it to where I can fight smarter. And my fight IQ has just gone through the roof since being able to work with Joseph Benavidez and TJ Dillashaw and just these super high-level guys that help me out with and ask nothing in return.
And now you are fighting the champ in just a few days. Demetrious Johnson has been a very difficult puzzle for a lot of fighters to solve, whether he was at bantamweight or he's been the only flyweight champion in the UFC's history. Where do you feel like you can surprise him in there?
With all the other guys that he's fought, he fights guys that are technique guys, and you're not going to out-technique Demetrious Johnson. It's not going to happen. He's for sure a better martial artist than me. He's for sure faster than me. He's probably stronger than me. He's probably a better athlete than me. But I'm a fighter. I'm not a martial artist. I'm going to take the technique and I'm going to take the martial arts out of it, and I'm going to make this a fist fight, a bar fight, a knockdown, drag out, nasty, ugly, dirty fight. And nobody's done that with him before. And that's all I got. And I feel like this is a good guy to have that against.
And you've got this awkward style, though, that throws a lot of people off. I mean, that's why you have been in such incredible fights, is because you come out there and nobody's seen anything like Tim Elliott before. Do you think anyone can actually prepare for that?
No, I mean, that's the thing, is I can't think of anybody that Demetrious Johnson can bring in to mimic me, unless he got Dominic Cruz to come in and help him, which that's not going to happen. So I feel really good about the matchup. I don't think I could pick a better fight for myself.
Are you excited? Is there a part of you that's so happy the show's done airing and you can live your life now?
Honestly, I feel calm and ready. I feel like I've already won. The show's over. I'm going into this fight just to have a good time and put on the show, and I think that makes me a dangerous guy.
It absolutely does. Before I let you go, I just want to get your opinion on the coaches matchup. Obviously, Team Benavidez, you're rooting for him there, but how do you see this one going down?
Honestly, and taking everything aside of me being on Joe's team and Joe being my friend and me training with him, I think that Joe is just a more complete mixed martial artist. I think that Henry trains boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. There's no in-between game. I know the type of training that Joe's doing. I've been doing it with him for a month, and they're training nothing but MMA, nothing but in between. So I'm calling first round TKO Benavidez.
It is you competing for the world title on Saturday night, right here in Las Vegas at the Palms. Tim Elliott, I cannot wait for this matchup.
Me either.
One of the most exciting fighters in the division. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking to us.